Just quickly, our medically supervised weight loss, I kind of touched on that. We have several programs, appetite suppressants, we do dietary counseling, and HCG, which is a hormone. Our wellness, we call our female wellness program Serenity, we call the male program Vitality. So we have Serenity and Vitality. Basically, we're combining the bioidentical hormones, supplements, laboratory monitoring, lifestyle coaching to improve quality of life and attempt to slow down the aging process. What do women want? Well, that's, want to look good, feel good, age slower, but in the realm of procedures, women prefer, in my opinion, quick procedures that they can get done on their lunch hour or with busy schedules with kids and a busy job and a husband and all these things that they have to manage with very little downtime as much as possible, and something they can afford that also gives subtle but gradual changes. I mean, in the non-invasive cosmetic world, we're either delaying plastic surgery, which means you're somewhere in that 30 to 55, 60 range, where you're not really ready for surgery. And we also are in lieu of surgery for those patients and women who don't ever want surgery. It's just not something they're ever going to want to do. So we can either be in lieu of, or at least to delay when you're going to be considering having those surgical procedures. So my top 3 things that I would consider that you can do to turn back the clock without going to the scalpel are something called the liquid facelift. And I'm going to talk about that in more depth here in a minute, and old therapy, which I touched on in that first slide, and cool sculpting. So what is the liquid facelift? The liquid facelift is not actually just one procedure. It's actually combining several different procedures and products. They're all injections, not lasers. It's really anything you can inject in the face, combining them in a different sequence to refill the face. The old way of anti-aging the face was to pull everything back and suspend it. Between having to have that done, and eventually the skin reaches the point that it's got so much laxity that facelift may eventually be necessary, but in the interim, 30s, 40s, 50s, and even early 60s, restoring your facial volume, and I tell people it's like having the air put back in your balloon. It revolumizes the faces. That actually lifts. When you put substance, i.e. volume, or these fillers in the face, it's actually going to lift up those jowls, this nasolabial fold that women get. You can actually put some in the temples to actually lift up the brow. Because most early signs of facial aging are due to volume loss. It's not that your skin is actually getting so weak and so saggy. It's just the skin doesn't have anything to hold on to anymore. So basically we go below the skin and plump it back up, and that resuspends the skin. Go back to that one. So when you're talking about the liquid facelift, is giving you cheeks back. If you're over 30 or over 40, and you go back and look at pictures of yourself when you were 20, you'll see that you had a nice round rosy cheek. And as you age, this cheek fat pad sort of falls down and it ends up in here instead of up in here. So the surgeons pull it back. And since we can't pull it back, we just go back to where you had that fullness 20 years ago and fill it back up. We can also fill in, this is called the nasolabial fold. This gets deeper and more prominent as you age, mainly because this area of your face is falling in, so it makes this look deeper and more prominent. Another thing that happens when you age, you actually get a hollow in cheek, so you can actually fill this in and actually rounds the face back out, and as you age, your face is going to contour in and become concave. If you look at yourself when you were younger, you were convex, so you can fill this in and actually restore a more youthful contour to the actual outside of your face. This is another big area, huge area that I see in women. It's called the marionette fold. And basically, as you age, or the marionette meaning puppet, you should think about a puppet with those lines right there. The marionette fold comes when this sinks in and loses its volume. All that side of your face starts to fall and causes what they call the marionette fold or the marionette groove. And also, if you look at her mouth, see how it's kind of turned up? It almost looks like she's smiling. An aging mouth will actually start to turn down. So when you build this back in and fill it back in, it kind of acts like scaffolding. It actually starts to support the corners of your mouth. So instead of having a downturned, frowny mouth, you can actually start to upturn the corners of the mouth, which is much more youthful. The chin sometimes is forgotten. The chin actually loses its volume as well. Mainly right in here, you'll start to see sunken in areas on either side. That's kind of related to the marionette. And then as this, and this is another area in here, as this area thins, that's what causes a jowling. And that really bothers a lot of women as well.